And welcome into Fantasy Football with Corey and Kyle for another round of Would You Rather. We're going to do wide receivers again. So, Kyle, what do you say? You want to pull up the wheel of wide receivers?
Let's do it.
Yeah, this thing has a different name for every show, I swear. But, all right, guys, so we got a bunch of wide receivers listed on here. Let's give it a spin and see who we're going to talk about. The first wide receiver, we're going to Would You Rather tonight. Oh, Ted McMillan. We got a rookie right off the bat.
A rookie in
Alrighty.
the easy, huh?
Oh, man. All right. Let's see what the second player. Would you rather have Ted McMillan or Pickens?
Ooh.
All righty. Ted McMillan and Pickens. Stick with us as we play Would You Rather. Alrighty, not the two I was expecting the wheel to land on, but
Nope.
we're at the fate of the spin. So here we are. This should be an interesting. Now, this is our first Would You Rather that we actually included rookies on, and we landed on one.
We included
landed
one
on
rookie
one.
and we hit him.
Oh, what are the odds of that? So
Time to buy a lottery ticket, I think.
yeah, no, probably not. But all right, so let's talk about Tet McMillan first before we talk about Pickens. Kyle, what do you think about Tet?
I love Tet, but more than that, I love his landing spot. Like when you look at the draft this year and where wide receivers landed, running backs was a gold mine this year. There was a ton of them. They all landed in pretty good spots. You love it. When you look at the draft for fantasy and look at the receivers and where they landed, he's it. He's the top guy. And ultra productive at Arizona, instantly steps into the number one role in Carolina with a Bryce Young that we saw improving as in the second half of the season last year. Instantly gets you excited for Ted McMillan.
I agree. I think seeing Bryce Young kind of take a backseat last season and have to sit back and watch and learn a little bit. When he hit the field again, he played very well. So, at least from a fantasy perspective, and I think, like you said, Tet just fell into a good position. There were some good, talented wide receivers that, in my opinion, went to some spots where they're gonna be the third wide receiver or something. It was pretty disappointing, and that's just how the draft goes, right?
Victor Burton comes to mind.
Egbuka, I mean, going to be the third wide receiver there, and so it gets kind of disappointing. So you just kind of hope that someone lands into a good spot, and Tet was the beneficiary of that exact scenario. So I like also where he landed, and the quarterback play there has improved so much that I feel good about it. I feel like Bryce Young can actually get the ball to his wide receivers, and I think that offense as a whole kind of came to shape. Even Chuba Hubbard was actually producing, which we did not see coming.
Didn't see that coming. Was not a good backup before, and then all of a sudden, he's a starter and he's good.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I think they're doing good at running back behind Chuba Hubbard with Dowdle and Etienne. I think they're doing pretty good there. R.I.P. Jonathan Brooks. I don't know what's going on there.
I was
right?
gonna say, yeah, that doesn't even count.
They've still got Adam Thielen. That's going to be out there. They're going to have to give him attention. Jalen Coker, they're. I like him. I think they even have Jatavion Sanders, which
is not a slouch either. Like they've still got other threats around Tet, but he definitely comes in as the alpha. And what I like about him too for Bryce is he's such a big target. 6'5", 212. Like he's almost Calvin Johnson size type. I mean, he's not Calvin Johnson. Let's not get it twisted. But he's that size. He's that type of big body receiver that your quarterback loves to throw to.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, well, let's talk about Pickens then a little bit.
Well, before the intro so rudely cut me off, how about them Cowboys? No, listen. Everybody knows we're Cowboys homers, but
obviously.
and I can say this with all honesty, with no bias, this was a fantastic landing spot for George Pickens. And I know, like, he gets this knucklehead chatter and all this stuff. He's a young kid. He's made mistakes. He's not always going to be the brightest, but it seems like he's learning from them. Me and you have talked before. Dallas is not a team that shies away from taking in a young troublemaker and turning that. I mean,
Yep.
They literally built babysitters into Des Bryant's contract.
100%.
He turned into one of the best 88s they've ever had.
Yep.
So, like, I love that for him, but I love the talent that we're getting as the Cowboys. I feel like the perfect compliment for CeeDee Lamb. He's shown the ability to make fantastic catches.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to be able to just double and triple team CeeDee Lamb anymore. And that makes this passing game very, very dangerous.
No, I agree. I mean, you saw how they were just everyone on CeeDee Lamb last year.
Oh, yeah.
And it wears on you. I mean, and CeeDee's still putting up those numbers. So he's still obviously the number one. I know he's like, oh, we're both the number one. No. Pickens is obviously a number two. But, Brandon Cooks probably wasn't even their number two receiver last year. It was Turpin. I mean, he was probably their best other wide
rotational. By the end of the season,
like,
I feel like Tolbert had a pretty good role in that offense.
Yeah. So, I mean, they didn't have much going outside of CeeDee Lamb and maybe Ferguson, right? So George Pickens is adding a whole new element to that entire offense. And I know a lot of times people are thinking multiple wide receivers, not enough passes to go around, blah, blah, blah. That to me is not true, right? I could see this being, Chase Higgins. It kind of same thing here with CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, right? Like they're both very, very startable. Pickens is not going to be CeeDee Lamb caliber, but he's going to be more of that maybe T. Higgins caliber,
Sure, yeah. T. Higgins, Devonta Smith.
Yep, Devonta Smith.
Last year, Addison really came on. He could be that kind of guy. Waddle from 2 years ago.
Yep.
Like, it's going to be that kind of duo, and it's going to be nasty, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and again, like, it's spreading the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the more weapons there are, you may have less targets, but your quality of targets goes way up. And I know people love to bash on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, but Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, but he's a really good quarterback, and he throws a good ball. Otherwise, CeeDee Lamb wouldn't be getting the numbers he's getting, right? They improved that offensive line. That's been a huge problem with them, is protecting Dak Prescott. So if they give him a little bit of time, George Pickens is going to do well.
I feel like Dak Prescott is like a rich man's Jameis Winston. Yeah, he might throw 3 or 4 picks in a game, but he's going to fling the ball around the yard, and there's going to be a lot of targets to go around.
You know who people really loved doing that back in the day was Brett Favre. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, he's going to throw interceptions, but look at him sling the ball. He's taking risks. He's making plays happen, and then – but he didn't play for the Dallas Cowboys, so he's not catching flack for it, right? He's catching flack for other reasons now. If you haven't seen that documentary, maybe go check that out. But all in all, I think the biggest concern, you touched on it, was Pickens getting in trouble, but he's playing out his rookie contract here. He's trying to get re-signed.
And he's happy. He seems happy. Him and CeeDee Lamb are hanging out. They're posting social media stuff together.
Yeah.
He's all smiles out on the field. Like, he's having a blast. He's not in cold weather Pittsburgh and with crappy QB play and not getting the ball enough. Like, it's a game changer for Pickens.
But like you said, this is not unfamiliar territory for the Dallas Cowboys.
No.
A troublemaker wide receiver coming in. Okay, we'll figure it. Like, we'll get him taken care of.
A lot of them outgrow that stuff.
Yep.
Unless he would have, well, if he'd have stayed in Pittsburgh, he might not have outgrown it. They have a problem with driving the receivers mad over time. I feel like he might have got out soon enough to avoid it.
Yep. Yep. Alrighty. Have you said your part? You ready to get to voting?
I'm good. Let's vote.
All right, let's vote. So we are going to vote either 1 for McMillan or 2 for Pickens, and we're just going to hold up our hand with the number on it. We'll do redraft first.
Okay.
All righty. So here's for redraft on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. All righty. We both went with Pickens. Every time I get balloons on my screen, I don't know why it does it. It's the wildest thing. I don't know why that started, but I get cool balloons when we do it. So either way, going back to our votes, we both picked Pickens for redraft here. And for me, I just think it's going to take a minute for Tet to actually be there, right? Rookie, there's a learning curve there. Bryce Young is still young.
Yep.
In age along with his name. So he's still going to be learning a little bit too. This team has potential for the future for sure. But this year, I think Pickens will have an immediate impact. I think he's going to try really, really hard trying to earn a contract. And I think it's going to be a smoother transition, him going from the Steelers to the Cowboys, than from Tet going from Arizona Pussycats, go Devils, up here to the pros to play for Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on everything you said. Really,
including go Devils.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's my sister-in-law's team, so yeah.
All righty, cool. Well, then, simple enough. Let's vote for Dynasty.
Let's do it.
How's that sound? All righty, on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, and we both went with Tet there. No disagreements tonight. We both in agreement. What's your thoughts on Tet, Kyle?
I mean, when you're right, you're right. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
No, dude, like Tet, and we kind of talked about it. Young QB. He's young, 2 years younger than Pickens, so not a huge gap there. But he's the unquestioned number 1 in that offense. So even if you got to wait a year or 2 for him to come around, in Dynasty, it's worth it because he's going to be a much more dominant player. I feel like while I love Pickens and he's going to be great, and he's going to be great for a while because I just have a feeling he's going to play well this year. He's going to get re-signed, but he's always going to play second fiddle to Lamb. Even though they're saying they're A and B or not even they're 2-1s or whatever, like he's always going to be second fiddle to Lamb. And Dak's not going to be there forever. Who knows what happens after that? But Bryce and Tet can build a rapport and grow in that city together for a while. And I like that a lot for Dynasty.
Ooh, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I was thinking the exact same thing of Bryce and Tet are both young and they can kind of grow together. And you see the relationship that builds when 2 young players grow together, right? Mm-hmm. When you saw Dak growing with Zeke, right? And even kind of growing with CD here, they're all kind of growing together. And they build that rapport and that personal relationship as they go through that journey together. I think that's really going to help Tet and Bryce Young here. So, and then Pickens, there's a long shot here or a possibility. I would say probably 50% at this point. He may not be with the Cowboys next year. What if he doesn't perform? What if he does get in trouble and they're like, screw it. It was worth it for 1 season, but not worth it next season. Who knows where he ends up?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a gamble there that you don't have to worry about over with the Panthers players.
That's true. I don't think the chances of that are very high, but it is there, and it's not there with the other. You're right.
So to me, that's playing in. Plus, Tet in 2 years, especially for a wide receiver, doesn't make that big of a difference. You know,
not when it's 22 and 24.
Pickens being 24.
If it's 29 and 31, it's maybe, but
yeah. So I'm not super worried about that. That's not really something I'm weighing here. It's really just kind of situation and chemistry in the long term. Yep. All righty. So no disagreements tonight. No arguments, just a bunch of agreements. I'll take it. Every once in a while, I can agree with my brother.
Sometimes. Doesn't happen often. I'll take them when I can get them.
All right, Kyle. We'll disagree next week.
Yes.
Good luck to everyone in your dynasty drafts.
Good luck.